Hi everyone, I'm Kariba Devine and welcome to 12 News in Focus. Every week we take a look back at some of the great stories brought to you from our 12 News journalists. On today's show, how an influencer's walk across the country is inspiring Arizonans and why spotting rare river otters in the Salt River is good for the environment. But first, an emotional moment when an ASU student advances on America's Got Talent.
I've been doing it my entire life, and I think the main thing that I've found with magic is that it connects with anybody. My goal as an entertainer is to make people forget about anything they got going on in their lives and just be in the moment, in the space together.
Welcome to America's Got Talent.
That was Gino Plager's big moment, taking his passion onto the America's Got Talent stage.
You walk out on stage, you see the judges, you see the audience, and it's just the most overwhelming thing. Wow, I've made it, to my lifelong dream. I've dreamt of nothing else.
I knew you were gonna pick the 4 of diamonds. It sounds crazy. Before I walked on stage, I put one card in my hat. I'm not even gonna reach in. I just want you to look, Simon. Look what card it is.
Stop.
It's the 4 of diamonds!
Gino was inspired to take up magic when he watched Matt Franco win season 9 of AGT.
And I think what fascinated me the most was the fact that he wasn't wearing a top hat, he wasn't wearing a cape, he was doing just magic, but he was himself on stage.
On AGT, season 21, Blackjack!
Then the moment he knew he crushed it.
Simon Cowell has given me the iconic double thumbs up that you always see. The audience in there is so loud. It's deafening. You can't hear yourself think.
An emotional moment Gino shared with his parents and fiancée.
They've seen this journey of how AGT has impacted my life.
It's a yes.
With the approval of all 4 judges. We'll see what the future holds in the cards, but so far it looks bright.
On an Arizona highway.
It's dangerous on the road. I'm aware of that.
You might have seen Isaiah Thomas in a neon shirt, just walking.
Got some supporters coming up too right now. Yo, you got my favorite Gatorade.
You can't see them, but there are thousands more supporters walking right beside him.
Sometimes 1,000 people watching at a time.
To his chat, he's Humble Zay, live streaming on TikTok and Twitch, where his viewers just watch him walk.
This is how I'm streaming. I got the Starlink on there.
A walk of faith. From Philadelphia to California, for many walks of life.
All walks of life right now is being inspired.
Inspired, just like Humble DJ. Once a viewer, now
I was able to, come out here. I'm 36. I've never really been big on Twitch or anything like that. I was watching along and I'm like, man, this is pretty dope. Like, he's really doing something inspiring.
Back home, Zay says growing up, kids like him didn't have a clear path to success.
I realized that, starting off at a trade school is something that could change their life.
So to raise money to build one, he hit the road.
That was the reason why I was able to, take this walk of faith.
Through tornadoes, mountains,
856 feet.
traffic stops.
Just need to figure out what the heck is going on.
Got 3 cops on me.
And dust storms.
We made it through it all, but after he got hit, it was a dire need.
On day 34, hit by a car, live on stream. Fortunately, Zay walked away with just a few bruises, and after a few days in the hospital, he just kept going.
Even when I got hit by the car, now I'm here.
This time, with help. That's when Zay brought DJ out to drive an RV for support.
My life has been forever changed. I don't foresee me going back home and things being the same.
I think this journey is showing all of us that never give up on yourself.
Because then there were the good moments.
God did!
Arizona people, the whole Arizona just been a blessing. Going through the Navajo Nation, it was beautiful. Even now as I'm going into Flagstaff, I've barely been able to walk today because so many people been stopping me. The love been amazing.
Love.
Nice to meet you.
Found in so many other moments on his trip. Fans.
Colorado Springs.
Fellowship.
Here go your man right here, Chet.
Rescuing a new friend. And countless prayers.
I saw your walk. I needed a man of God to pray for me.
Let's keep any harm away from him, Father God. These are good troopers, God. That you keep his heart pure, God.
And even crossing paths with others.
Dude, you're the man. You're my hero.
Love, bro, love.
Others, like him, who were inspired to walk their own roads.
I'm walking from Florida all the way to Oregon.
To Boston. Juggling the entire way.
An outline of the United States.
We just walked across America.
And Zay did it.
3,000 miles on foot. Anything is possible.
The stream ended. His walk ended.
Humble University on the way.
But a new walk is just beginning.
He has brought together so many people. I don't even think he realizes it in his full capacity.
And just showing people that God's still real.
Say will get to LA on August 1st, and he has a big celebration planned. More than 1,300 people have already RSVP'd. He hopes to hit his GoFundMe goal by then, and that money will help him to build his trade school, which he is calling Humble University, which will offer paths to trades like plumbing, nursing, and commercial driving for teens in Philadelphia. Reporting in studio, I'm Haley Brown, 12 News.
Almost every weekend for the last 3 months, this has been parts of State Route 51. Now at the halfway point, this is how the highway looks.
The project began with removing the asphalt overlay,
which Garen Groff with ADOT says might be the reason it doesn't have that finished product look yet, but it's still a work in progress.
That is just sort of a rough removal before the diamond grinding can begin to provide that much smoother surface.
Garen says they're in the middle of diamond grinding.
It's still something that's fairly new to ADOT within the last several years.
Which could be leaving rubble on the highway. That's because the process removes about 1/4 inch of the highway surface with diamond blades to put grooves that run in the same direction as the driving surface. Now, diamond grinding isn't new to Valley highways. We've seen it used on the 101 throughout the Valley, an option that will last twice as long as asphalt. Now, during the 30 years, there will be less maintenance, money spent, and noise while driving.
Throughout that 30 years or so, it remains a smooth surface and it will remain a quieter ride over time, whereas the asphalt will become noisier as it ages.
Everything is on schedule. However, there's concern with bumps on the road, which Garen says is because around the bridges or overpasses where deck joints, they need to be brought down again.
If people are experiencing bumps, those are still temporary. We'll be getting to those as the project goes on.
And coming up, taking you behind the scenes of Arizona's tastiest candy company.
Helps you know what services and supports to be fighting for.
For many families, special education can feel like learning an entirely different language. Medical diagnoses, educational evaluations, federal law, state law, individualized education programs. It's a system Carla Phillips-Krivickas learned firsthand, not just as a longtime education policy expert, but as her own reality.
I have 2 kids with disabilities and really saw how the system just doesn't meet their needs.
Instead of helping just her own family, she set her sights on fixing the system itself. A year ago, she launched Champions for Kids, a coalition now nearly 400 strong of retired special ed directors, teachers, parents, and advocates, all with one thing in common: lived experience, and all focused on finding solutions that improve special education for families across Arizona.
When do we step back and say, let's find some common issues that we can find systemic solutions for?
One of their first big projects, an autism evaluation checklist that helps families better understand how medical diagnoses connect with what schools are legally required to evaluate. It's designed to help parents walk into IEP meetings informed, not intimidated.
And I heard my first real anecdotal story. She took it to the IEP meeting with her and it changed everything, and they came out of it with everything they needed. So I'm kind of glowing right now because that's exactly what we imagined, is something to empower parents.
Rachel Anderson is Chief Clinical Officer at SARC, which partnered on the tool. She says it translates confusing medical and educational language into something parents can actually use at the table.
If, for instance, you have a social delay, how might that impact your educational performance, and tying those two things together, but not needing an expert or an advocate to have to do that.
That kind of impact catching national attention. The Educating All Learners Alliance naming Phillips-Krivickas its 2026 new champion out of a record number of applicants, handing her a $35,000 unrestricted grant and a year of mentorship. She's using it to create similar tools for the 12 other federally recognized disability categories and translating them into Spanish so even more families can use them. Rachel says the honor is no surprise.
You look at a room full of students and you just don't know how many of those students are impacted and have and would benefit from additional supports, and Carla is there in their corner fighting for them and making sure they get everything they need.
For Carla, the recognition isn't about personal achievement, it's validation that solutions created by families with families can reshape an education system and help the invisible come into focus.
We're taking you behind the sweets of one of Arizona's tastiest traditions. Using the desert as the main ingredient, this cactus candy has been carrying Arizona flavor since 1942, and it's still being made the old-fashioned way. Welcome to Arizona's version of Willy Wonka, where the chocolate river has been swapped for a prickly pear pool.
This is our prickly pear cactus candy. Came up to a boil, and now she's actually going to pour the candy into our molds. This is how the company started.
Everything done by hand still.
Yes.
Has the recipe ever changed?
No, it has not changed in 84 years, and neither has the packaging.
What makes prickly pear such an Arizona flavor?
The actual prickly pear, we actually get it from northern Arizona, and that pear, we process it to get the juice, the prickly pear juice, and that's what goes into the candies and the jellies.
Most people see cactus and they think don't touch, but you guys see it and think let's turn the desert into dessert.
We get that all the time. People think the candy is prickly, and we're like, no, it's just sweet. It's a cross between, I would say, like a raspberry and a strawberry.
Around here, recipes aren't the only thing passed down through generations. So is a strong sense of family. Why is this place like home to you?
It's home to us because it's a family environment. We're family owned now for 30 years. You know, just working with my siblings and my dad too, so it makes it enjoyable to come to work every day knowing that you're going to make candy or jelly. Doesn't get any better than that. Every day we package right around 2,000 boxes, and you're actually packaging the our iconic yellow cactus candy box that has the design has not changed in 84 years.
It's sweet, it's nostalgic, it's very Arizona. So it all started with this candy, John, but what else do you make here?
We actually manufacture candies, jellies, salsa, hot sauce, barbecue sauces. We do a wide range of products that we manufacture nowadays, and we also ship nationwide too.
Turns out the desert really can become dessert and so much more. You can shop over 1,000 products from sweet to spicy right here at their factory store at Thomas and 37th Avenue. For Rediscover Arizona, I'm Crystal Long.
The owner of Game Outpost tells me he's now increasing security across his 4 stores to prevent future break-ins. But right now, he's just hoping the person who targeted this store is caught. 3 packs of trading cards are all that's left of Game Outpost's North Phoenix Pokemon collection.
You definitely knew to grab the Pokemon, for sure.
After a thief targeted the highly sought-after merchandise in a recent smash and grab.
There are cards in there and in a lot of Pokemon boxes that are 1 in a million, and if you pull it, it's like winning the lottery.
Several surveillance cameras captured the moment a rock broke through a corner window and came tumbling into Game Outpost just before 2 a.m. last Monday. A masked man is then seen crawling into the store behind the counter and dumping merchandise into a cardboard box. At one point, he drops it all on the floor and picks it up. Still, he got away in under 5 minutes.
Completely cleared out all of the Pokemon, and then from there, you could kind of tell he didn't really know what else he was going for.
Brothers Hayden and Griffin Nielsen are still calculating the total cost of loss and damages, but they're estimating it to be between $5,000 and $10,000. They tell me Pokemon products are difficult to replace.
We can't just go and be like, hey, can we buy more Pokemon? It doesn't work like that.
This is just one incident in a string of recently reported thefts around the valley. Last May, a man reportedly walked away with nearly $7,000 worth of Pokemon trading cards from a shop in Tempe.
This is happening a lot with card stores, and it's like a very violating feeling because they have 4 locations. It's just like, you just kind of hold your breath. It's like, is this going to happen again?
The brothers say the thieves can then turn around and sell the cards online or at other shops.
This is an untraceable business where they're just cards and cardboard in boxes.
The brothers spent the past several years growing the business into a community of collectors and players.
It's unacceptable for people to do this.
And they're hoping someone helps them catch the person who did this.
And all this time and energy and effort for it just to be taken in like less than 5 minutes. It's like, It's just crazy.
Anyone with information about this incident is asked to contact the Phoenix Police Department or silent witness to remain anonymous. In Phoenix, Gabriela Becerra, 12 News.
Coming up, keeping marine mammals safe during the monsoon season.
To make sure sea lions like Makara here are safe through the monsoon storms, zoo staff here are prepping their habitats to ensure that. Here, monsoon season means more than just watching the sky. Delaney Sevchik just traded the desert for the open ocean, and now she's back right as monsoon season hits. She's a sea lion trainer here at Wildlife World Zoo and a master's student in ASU's Ocean Futures program. Delaney is part of the team making sure the sea lion habitat can handle high winds, blowing dust, and sudden storms.
We kind of monitor the weather throughout our day. If we ever see, clouds in the sky or a monsoon storm predicted, we will actually prepare for it. Our sea lions know a really cool behavior where they can actually recall inside. So we've built a trust with them using positive reinforcement training. And so they know that if they hear a whistle, to stop what they're doing, go inside so that we can make sure that they are staying safe. The biggest thing is the dust and debris. We want to make sure, just like us humans, we don't have too much exposure out to the dust. So we want to make sure that they're staying safe by staying inside.
Delaney brings a unique perspective to the job. She recently studied ocean ecosystems in Bermuda, research that now informs how she thinks about water and weather here in the desert.
I think the highlight for me was being able to go on essentially a science expedition with scientists in the field and learn from them, as well as go diving and get field experience diving and then apply it to presentations and scientific work. Coming back here for monsoon season, it has kind of made me realize just how connected we are to the ocean, because our monsoon seasons are created from the ocean. We get, the cold moisture air from the Gulf of California.
The timing couldn't be more relevant. ASU researchers are currently studying Phoenix's monsoons up close through a new project called the Desert Urban System Integrated Atmospheric Monsoon, looking at how dust and storms impact the valley.
The scientific backing that we can provide for it not only allows us to ensure that we're providing the correct information to our guests, but it allows us to make sure that we are providing the best care for our animals.
For now, Delaney and the rest of the zoo's team are focused on the basics. Securing habitats, monitoring forecasts, and making sure every animal here is ready for whatever this monsoon season brings. Monsoon prep happens all year long in Litchfield Park. Trisha Hendricks, 12 News.
Hi. Nice.
In this Ahwatukee home, parrots outnumber people.
Roll over. Good job.
7 golden conures, a rare bright yellow parrot species native to Brazil, live here as part of Lou Olson's flock.
We are a different kind of people who love parrots. It's a commitment, it's huge.
She treats her birds like they're her children, even though some are in their 30s.
They're like kids, toddlers forever. I love them so much.
2 weeks ago, one accidentally got loose.
Nacho arrived to us. We had him only 2 weeks.
Olson says she took the birds outside to the aviary for showers before a monsoon storm.
Just cracked it enough, my shoulder width. He jumped on my shoulder, boom, and out.
Nacho flew over the roofline and out of sight.
We couldn't see the direction that he went. That was the #1 problem.
2 weeks later, still no sign of Nacho. Olson says she's not the only one grieving.
Chip, the day after, he ripped his tail off. They will emotionally rip their feathers off.
Olson has contacted every resource she can find: avian vets, the Phoenix Zoo, and local parrot rescues.
I'll show you what a Quaker looks like.
Benjamin Kikarov runs Valleywide Parrot Rescue in Phoenix, and he's rehomed and rescued a lot of them.
We crossed 1,000 about 3 months ago.
Kikarov says the majority of parrots that end up here are surrenders.
It's a human lifespan, right? So let's say I'm in my 30s and I get myself a little baby macaw. That bird's most likely gonna outlive me.
But occasionally one comes in as a missing pet. So what should you do if you spot an exotic bird in your neighborhood? Both Olson and Kikarov say don't chase it.
Don't try to get the bird down. A sighting may be all we need.
Kikarov says most pet birds will actually come to you.
If there's someone's pet, there's a good chance you can come up to it off of your finger, and especially if they've been out for long enough, they will step up because they rely on humans for food, for water, so they know this person, he can help me.
If you can safely secure the bird in a ventilated box or kennel, take it to the right rescue.
If you find a parrot outside, don't go to a wildlife one because they deal specifically with wildlife.
And be sure to post any sightings to local Facebook groups and Nextdoor. Chances are people like Olson are regularly checking. Birds like Nacho are hard to miss.
We are going to wait for Nacho because love doesn't give up.
In Phoenix, Kyle Simchuk, 12 News.
Captured photos of a number of wildlife.
I've seen Gila monsters, bobcats, eagles, ospreys, hawks, vultures, all kinds of lizards and snakes.
Stordo says growing up in the Midwest, otters weren't something he expected to find in Arizona.
I wasn't sure what I would find out here other than the normal expected, the road runners, the mountain lions and snakes and stuff. So yeah, that was surprising when I first saw them.
An expert with Arizona's Game and Fish say this is the reason they're not seen as often as wild horses, ducks, or fish.
They're not uncommon, but they're not a species that's regularly observed because they spend quite a bit of their time in the water and under the water. So you're pretty lucky to see them here in Arizona.
The state agency says the mammals were reintroduced into the Verde River watershed back in 1981. Their population has since expanded, and they found their way into other river systems as well. And seeing them is actually a positive sign.
River otters are pretty sensitive to changes in water quality. And so being able to observe them in our rivers is a good indication of the water health in those systems.
The mammals help maintain fish prey populations, and they also eat invasive species like crawfish. But Game and Fish say they're difficult to monitor.
We do have issues sometimes with them getting in the fish hatcheries or into people's private ponds. People are seeing them at lakes and rivers. So we definitely suspect that we have a healthy population, but they are pretty difficult to actually count individuals.
April Howard of Game and Fish believes the video shows what looks to be a mother and her 4 young. For many, the Salt River is a place to escape the heat, but for countless species, it's home.
It's so plentiful. The lower Salt River is just full of a massive diversity of species. It's like no other place I've been before in my life.
Tiani Jadaling, Today in AZ.
Thanks everyone for watching, and just a reminder that new episodes of 12 News in Focus premiere every Friday on the 12 News app. You can also watch past episodes. It's simple, just download the 12 News app on your TV devices and you can watch for free. I'm Kariba Devine. Have a fantastic rest of your weekend.